She and I have been BFF since grade school, and our parents were very close friends with one another. My mom passed away when I was 15, and she was right there for me the entire time. She has always been the more mature one between us, and while I have really enjoyed somewhat of a wild love life, she has been very discreet about any guy she has dated, and none of them have lasted. I honestly started to notice her behavior change around my father when she started going to college. I never even suspected anything out of the norm with her or him, but she would once a week bring him dinner after he got off of work. A couple of months ago, I noticed she would wear things around him that I thought were totally inappropriate. Then she started to bring him his dinner when I wasn't there, which she has done once or twice before over the years, but now she was picking nights I wasn't going to be there to do it. My dad has not even so much as been out on a date since my mom died. I think he always felt like he would look bad to either me or my brother. We have both told him over the past couple of months that neither of us expect him to live his life alone, or as a monk. He was more than faithful to our family, and we want him to be happy. I know her. I love her like a sister. I will just admit to being a bad friend right now. I know where she keeps her diary online. She's kept this for years, and I've always known that her password was her cat's name. She uses the same damn password for everything. So, yes, I snooped. It was wrong. I feel like crap for doing it, but what's done is done. My suspicions were confirmed. She is fixated on him. From what I can tell, she has been for years, and that is why none of her relationships have ever worked out. First of all, this is grossing me the hell out. He's my dad, for God's sakes, and she used to stay overnight at our house when she was 12 and older with my mom there. So, reading her thoughts about my dad kind of made me ill. In an entry she made about 2 weeks ago, she said that she started to talk with him about more personal feelings, and that he opened up to her. I don't know what any of that means. It could just be a fantasy she has. Just FYI, my dad is 38. I was born when he turned 19. Here is where I'm torn. I know what I know, and no matter how I know it, yes, I know it was wrong. I can't look at her the same. She would be pissed, rightfully so, if she knew I read this. I'm torn. On the one hand, it weirds me out. But on the other hand, I don't know. I love her like a sister. And while it is weird on one level, on another level, I honestly believe she would love and take care of my dad. I have no idea how my dad feels about any of this, or if he even suspects anything. Do I say anything to her to encourage or discourage this? Do I just pretend like I don't know? I don't know how I will be able to do that. Also, is the age difference creepy to anyone else? My dad still looks young, but at the end of the day, he is going to be 40 said. Any advice would be appreciated. This is disturbing, and I can understand why it horrifies you. Unfortunately, they are both legal adults, and the age gap, while large, would not be unheard of in a few years' time. Example, 25 and 44. My hope is that this is a phase she emerges from eventually, or that your father doesn't reciprocate. If the worst happens, you may have to grin and bear this for a while. It really isn't that much of a difference, but she is actually 20 and will be 21 in less than a month, and he just turned 38 a couple of months ago, so yes, it's still 17 years of difference. Also, to the best of my knowledge, my dad has not acted on anything, nor for that matter am I even aware that he knows anything. Update. Well, this was a 2-box of tissue type of evening. I really struggled for the past couple of days with whether or not to even say anything to her. I mean, I only know for a fact her feelings because I really betrayed her confidence in me, and yes, I'm a cracky friend. But every time I see her, all I can do is think about it and want to talk about it. I decided that I wasn't going to be judgmental about it. As people pointed out in the first post, they are both adults. But I really don't want to see my dad get hurt, nor do I want to see her get hurt. So when she came over today after work, we were in the kitchen and talking the usual stuff, and I just decided that I was going to ask her. I gently mentioned that I noticed she had spent a lot of time with my dad and had even eaten with him and was wondering if anything was going on. At first, she was like, "Ew, gross, that's your dad." Which of course I knew was baloney, but I couldn't tell her I knew it. So I kind of brushed it off and talked about something else. After a few minutes of yakking, she then asks me if I'm upset that she has spent time with my dad, and I could tell then and there that she was embarrassed. I took her by the arm and we went to the living room. I just said, "Tell me what's going on." At first, she starts talking about just making sure that she is trying to help me and take care of him. But then I knew if I kept up the pressure, the truth would come out. So I said that I appreciated the help, but why eat dinner with him? And why dress up to eat dinner with him? Then, here comes the waterworks. She finally confesses that she loves him, has loved him for 4 years. She then tells me how I must hate her and this will ruin our friendship. I assure her that nothing of the sort will happen. Long talks go on, and eventually we get to the part where she is guilty about my mother because she feels like she is betraying her. This, of course, leads me to crying. We have the most girly talk crying fit for the next few hours that it honestly would have been pathetic to watch. Ultimately, this is what I know now. My dad, according to her, has no idea. She is petrified to even approach him. Now remember, my dad is friends with her parents, so this really complicates the issue. I told her in no uncertain terms would I tolerate her playing with my dad's heart or emotions, but I also said that I knew that she wouldn't, and I truly believe that this is more than just a crush. So this is now the B of this. She wants me to talk with my dad for her, just to see if he would be interested. If things weren't weird enough for me already. I told her I would though, because one way or the other, she needs to know. And I agree with her that if I say something to him, it won't be so weird for her in the future, if things don't go her way. Am I okay with this? I'm getting there. She has been there for me all along, and while it really is weird, I can also see where it would be less weird than having him bring someone home who we have to learn to either like or hate. I did tell her, though, that I was going to start calling her stepmom, just so she can feel old. Edit. Hey guys, I'm going to talk with my dad this evening. I wanted to edit this because in my post I made it sound really childish, which it still kind of is, but I'm not going to ask my dad out for her, nor is that what she wants. I'm just going to ask him if he knows that she is interested in him, or if he has noticed anything. I'm not going to encourage or discourage this either way. Update 2. Basically, last night after dinner when Dad and I were clearing the table, I just said how this week went. Then I asked if Lori, not her real name, had brought his dinner to him this week, and he said yes. So I just came out and said it. I said, you do know that Lori likes you a lot more than just as a friend, right? I was waiting for the denial or the laughing or something, but instead he says, I'm not an idiot. I didn't want to get into a conversation about whether or not he likes her. All I said to him was, if you are holding back being with her because of either me or Brian, not really my brother's name, you don't have to. We both know about her feelings for you, and neither of us have a problem with it. He just said okay, and that was it. I think the fact that he didn't just blow me off or make some joke or act shocked leads me to believe he is interested, but that is just a guess on my part. I spoke to my brother before talking with him, and he said he thought something was up as well. He said the only thing that grossed him out is that if they ended up together, he would have impure thoughts about his stepmom. He's a little perv. I caught him once when she stayed overnight when we were in high school, peeking on her while she was changing. But that has been a few years ago, and he has a girl who he is with now. I'm sure he'll be with a lot more, though. I told Lori today about talking with him and what I said. I told her I did not ask him out or anything for her, but I just let him know about her feelings and told her he didn't flinch. So that's it for me, and whatever happens from here is between them. She said she's going to talk with him today. I just hope that neither of them gets hurt. I love both of them, but at the end of the day, he is my dad, so ultimately my loyalty is with him. Update 3. So, third update was deleted, guys. But from comments, I understand that OP's dad assured OP that he has no plans to be with OP's friend, and it's not possible for something to happen between them. Update 4. I'm so angry I can barely type this out. I feel betrayed, used, and ultimately sickened over this. This is such BS. I had mentally prepared myself a couple of weeks ago for something to happen, but was told by both of them that nothing would happen. Ducking liars, both of them. There is absolutely no worse feeling on the damn earth than walking in and seeing your father and your best friend involved in the act. I wanted to snatch the hair out of her head when I saw her there. I was so disgusted with both of them that I just left the house. My brother said he suspected something was still going on because he said she did not stop coming over. Right now, I hate her. I ducking absolutely hate her. How could she do this after we talked it out, and she even said she needed to move on? But hell, I don't even know what to think. He was all Mr. Mature and turning her down, and then I get to see him doing what no daughter should have to see a father do, in particular to her best friend. I can't hate him because he is my dad, but I'll be damned if I'm not really pissed at him right now as well. I haven't even spoken to either of them since this. Now what? Where the duck do we go from here? I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I know I have done something bad, something stupid, and I know that I shouldn't have invaded my mom's privacy like that, but for the last few months, I had the nagging feeling inside of me that she is cheating on my father. I've noticed recently how obsessed she is with privacy, how protective of her phone she had become, and how vague and distant she was with us. It didn't account for much, so eventually I put these thoughts in the back of my mind. But a month or two ago, I overheard my mother talking on the phone with someone. saying to said person that she can't meet so soon after the last one, but promise that they will see each other at their spot. If before, my paranoid thoughts were just thoughts, after I overheard this, I was 100% certain she was cheating on my dad. I told him of my worries, and surprisingly, he said he felt the same. Things weren't the same between them, and he had thought the same. But he also told me to drop this and let him deal with it. It wasn't my place getting involved, and he said it'd be wise to leave it to him. Which I did, but my curiosity and my stupidity got the best of me, and today when I came back home, I did something I regret. My mom's at work, dad is away, and my younger brother, 16, was at school. Neither of them knew I was coming back. I wanted this to be a surprise, but I came back to an empty house. The internet was down, TV was boring, so I figured I'd pass the time by reading. I started looking for a book, and I stumbled upon my mom's diary. She loves writing, and has always kept a diary with her that she keeps in her cabinet, but this one was left in our bookcase in the living room, so I figured my mom wrote something in it and forgot to put it away. I remembered my conversation with my father and my promise to him, but, as I said, my curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to see if she wrote something about her supposed affair. Maybe this was the proof my dad could need, but I found something completely different. As it turns out, she wasn't cheating on him. She was hiding something from my dad and from us, but it wasn't an affair. It was a 26-year-old daughter. From what I've gathered by reading her diary, I can piece some story together, but I am sure it's incomplete. My mom became pregnant with her daughter at 18. She was engaged to her fiancé, who was the father, but he passed away a month after their engagement. My mother couldn't raise the child on her own. She comes from a poor background. Her fiancé's family didn't really like her, and my mother was forced to voluntarily give up her child. She gave it to a couple her family knew that could afford a good life for her daughter, and she was at some level content with that. Around April of last year, her daughter contacted her. She knew about my mother, and she wanted to meet her. My mom doesn't say what the meeting was about, but judging by the next couple of entries, it went well. They had a few more meetings, and my mom wrote that her daughter even asked her to attend her wedding, which was in November of last year. All seemed well until I read my mom's latest entry. My half-sister died last month in a car accident. The whole thing is long, and it's mostly my mom writing how she feels and how devastated she is, and I will spare you this. And there I have it. I now know my mom's deepest secret. She wrote that she never told my father about, and I feel awful. I was here, ready to confront her when she comes back home and accuse her of cheating, when in fact, she was mourning the death of her child. I feel like I am the worst son to ever exist, and I feel so sorry for my mom. Poor woman went through so much. To reconnect with her long-lost daughter, only to lose her again, this time permanently. I want to give my mom a big hug and tell her that everything is going to be fine, but I don't know if I can. I mean, I only found out about this by invading her privacy, and I am sure my mother would be upset about this. Let's not mention the fact that I thought she was cheating on my dad. That would be even harder for her to accept, to think her own son could think this way about her. I know what I did was wrong, but right now, I am here for my mother. Should I tell her that I know about her secret? What can I do to help her get through this? Different take on this. Without revealing what you know, just tell her that you've noticed she seems sadder, aloof lately. Let her know that you love her, and that any time she needs a hug, just let you know and you'll be there for her. However, let her tell you and your dad on her own schedule, and be prepared that she may take the secret to her grave. What you did was wrong, and you know that. I would not let her know the level of your betrayal. She would be crushed. Just be there for her if she decides to tell her story. Tell your dad she's not cheating. Personally, I'd leave the diary out of it. Just tell him you know, and that he should just talk to her about how she's been acting differently. Imagine layering a sense of betrayal from her boy. I know you're a young adult, just speaking from mother's perspective. On top of this recent passing. If I were you, I'd just give her a hug, tell her I love you, and hug her some more. Don't tell her you know. Let her turn that page when she's ready.